Well, without further ado, Mr. Newman and I are back with part 5 of this reaction thing. The Quiet on Set, episode 5. Um, as we were just discussing, he's seen it more recently than I did. He watched it Tuesday. I watched it Monday. It is currently Wednesday night. It is 10 o'clock in the. It's 10:20 in the p.m. And truly, I want to clarify. If like we're in the first minute of this, if you're watching this, we're not really discussing the actions of the people involved. He can discuss whatever he wants. I'm like we're here to have a back and forth. It is important that like to note that like at this point, I'm not judging anybody who was accused. Dick Peck and the other two dudes, they got sentenced. They were charged. They were officially charged. There's absolutely nothing else to say about them. And other than the fact that dude's name is Dick Peck, which is fucking funny.
I mean, he pretty much got off though.
Oh, do oh wait, oh wait. My favorite part about that small moment, I almost went there. I thought better of it, chose not to, but you were behind me and didn't see my brake lights, and you ran directly into me. Because I assume you were like, well, of course we're going to go forward, right? Why would we stop? No hanging fruit. We're not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna make the joke. Everybody thinks I'm
But I
gonna
mean, he
make.
did. Like
No, you
he got what? Sentenced to over a
like
year,
a yeah.
served like 4 months.
Yeah, he got out with bad behavior. I mean, fucking hell. He got out early for good behavior. He got in with bad
Yeah,
behavior.
and then went back to work.
Like, and a part of me wonders when he applied for that job at Disney, was it a Hail Mary pass? You know what I mean?
No, he had connections.
Like, so it was literally like you can't keep a good player down. Was that what it was? Like he knew what he wanted to do with his life, and he was determined to keep doing it. Yeah,
I'm assuming so. Although, like, considering there hasn't been anything else, maybe he stopped. But who knows? Because there could be um, situations with like there's a lot of possibilities, and the most common one is the NDA. So maybe some things have happened, but just like the thing with Drake, like it's under lock and key. No one knows until either that contract is broken or he ends up in jail again.
it's weird. Mm. To finish the statement I was trying to say earlier, your bro, like Mr. Newman is here to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. We're talking about the show. I ain't talking about the show. I'm talking about the execution of the show. I am talking about the way the people like did what they did, said what they said, which is why it was important if you like to be a part of this podcast thing, this this thing that is like a podcast. You had to watch the show because I felt it was. I didn't know what to expect out of the fifth episode. I didn't realize it was basically going to be us coming back, like after the reality show had ended, and was like, so how has life been since the show ended?
It's a reaction. It's a reaction show, but
Yeah.
also like it was clear that like they filmed that over a year ago, I guess.
Oh yeah. It was a while ago when they filmed that. Like that became evident like in the video in episode 5.
because some people like visibly look older. Um, but we're not critiquing anyone's look.
I'm not. You can. You ain't above it.
That's not my thing.
Okay.
I never would. Like, I don't pick on people for what they look like. I pick on them
For who they are.
exactly.
Um. So yeah, like, is there anywhere particular you want to start?
You got notes.
I do have notes, but again, like, so I'm gonna
Numero uno. Let's do this.
numero uno. Let's do this. Hey, you damn straight. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. Like, this entire thing will be laden with jokes and ruderies. All right, so uh, Soledad O'Brien, who is not a man, so she is not actually a dad, nor is she the father of the son. Okay, that joke is I've gotten that out. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. So at some point,
Almost walked out the studio. Like,
yeah, like he's dumb. He's dumb. Like, we don't want to be a part of anything he's in. Soledad asked Drake, not Drizzy, but Drake Bell, why he decided.
wait a second. God dang it. I just thought about something else.
What's up?
The podcast with the two British black dudes.
Yeah, shits and gigs.
Yeah. I saw a clip of them earlier. I guess they were doing like guess the face morph.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Did you not see? Oh my god. He was mad for real. James was mad for real.
Because he was like, can't you just let me have one, boy? Oh god, that was great.
Because oh my god, context. These two dudes are playing the game.
Nah, they don't deserve it.
Okay, fine. Shits and gigs. And like he wasn't joking. He was mad for real. Like, if you go back and watch that again, I watched it 3 times. I've seen it 3 times today. The look on his face. Fuhad was 100% fine. He saw that James was really pissed off, and he dove into it. He said, "You deserve you deserve a smack." Like he said, "You need." Like he mocked the way he talks and everything. He was for real bad. Like his name's not Childish Gambino. It's Donald Glover. Like, it's like whatever. It's like his name's not Drake either, ain't it? He's like, well, no, his name is actually Drake. R.B. Drake Graham. Like, when he said that boy's eyes rolled so hard. Like, he was hurt. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he was already losing the game. And
that's what he was like. You're already winning.
Like, it was 6-3. It's like, check your ego. It's like, but to be fair, he said like he's already buzzed in, and like he knew the answer, but like he had to think about it after he buzzed in. All right, so anyway, back to the more interesting Drake, honestly. So they asked Drake why he decided to join the documentary. That's what they asked him. They asked Drake, like, "Hey, what made you decide to join this?" I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't remember what he said. Because I knew the real answer as to why Drake joined that documentary.
Oh, please tell us.
The real reason Drake joined that documentary was Drake had some illegal shit going on. And and he needed y'all to feel bad for him.
Well, so here's the thing, because so many people have been coming out in support of Drake after this, and they're like, look, all of those claims were proven false. Like
Wait, what?
Drake didn't actually do anything. So I didn't actually take any time to put any research into it. I was just like, okay, sure, whatever. Um,
Boy, these the
but
people. Oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yes, apparently all of those claims were proven false, and that's why the case was pretty much just like thrown out. The craziest thing about Drake in that whole situation last night was the fact that he was coming to us
Live via satellite.
from
It
Mexico
was
City.
from Mexico City.
And I'm
Now,
just like, he really took this Mexico thing for real.
now I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm about to say something that's gonna probably get me hated on just a little bit. But y'all didn't like me to begin with, so what difference does it make?
Are you going to ask a question?
No, I'm gonna make a statement.
Okay.
I find it interesting that Drake Bell managed to find his way to a mostly Hispanic area because Hispanic culture, in my experience and in the experience of others, it's not super uncommon for underage Hispanic girls to be involved with adult Hispanic men, or vice versa.
See, that's really similar to the question that I was thinking.
What would you think? Talk to me. What would you gonna say?
Mine was just blunt.
Uh huh.
What's the age of consent in Mexico?
Okay. Okay. Get in where you fit in, as Caitlin Parker
Ooh,
once said. No, what she said was "get it how you live." So which is a lot more fitting. Get it how you live. Which at the time when she said that, it made absolutely no fucking sense. Uh, but now it makes perfect sense in relation to Drake. Um, so that was my take on it. It was like, yeah, like of course Drake is like, oh yeah, like I got like let's not to like minimize the trauma that he did experience as a kid, and like a lot of people who end up becoming child predators are usually like not guilty, but have usually gone through either some sort of like trauma, like physical trauma, like as a kid, like being beaten a lot or specifically hit in the head as kids, or they themselves were sexually assaulted. So like it's possible that Dick Peck was also like somehow traumatized as a kid, and it's like it's just it's what he knows.
I mean, he had to have been considering like what
Wow,
Kyle said, like his house
I
looked like. You know,
I was dude, I was really I don't know why. I was about to say something so fucking mean about that dude. I really
that's
was.
fine.
Cause you were like
We,
he cause you said he had to have been. And the immediate thought, I mean snap, like I had to stop myself. And I was gonna ask you why, because he was so fucking ugly. Like I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that. And we already established we are
that's
not
why. That's
here.
why he went after people that he could control because he could. Never mind.
Yeah,
So
man.
the whole
Are we
reason
okay?
I think Drake did the show. So what I would really like to see is
Drake's butthole.
rather than Soledad O'Brien, because here's the thing. Here's the one thing that I thought gave this a little bit of legitimacy is like literally just the fact that she was involved. It should have been Linda Ellerbee. That's what it should have
That'd have
been.
been
She's
great.
still alive.
I
She's
don't
still
know.
alive.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think she has
Um,
I think she's commented in on some of this stuff. I would have preferred it been Nancy Grace because like and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And I'm gonna tell you why. I hate Nancy Grace. And I cannot stress to you enough. 15 minutes into this podcast thing, I made it less than a full minute into the fifth episode, and I was enraged by all of it. I cannot stress enough that like as an individual on this planet, like as a black dude who grew up through the '90s, like my whole thing is like be real, don't be fake. Gotta be for real, don't be for play. And TV is the epitome of fakeness. TV. I'm watching Rick and Morty. Y'all can't see it, but like to get like the Elgato to record properly because I'm using the Elgato for some fucking reason. Because I think I could probably use Audacity, but I don't think I have Audacity, so whatever. Like I'm watching TV to record this. Like it won't be in the thing, don't worry. The audio and stuff, you can tell it's been 15 minutes. Um, TV is like the epitome of not real. Most of it is written, it is scripted, it is designed to create entertainment. It is designed to like to stop the lull in enjoyment of life. And this was not supposed to be TV, in my opinion. A good documentary, like let's say, I love music. I love music, well not music, but I do love music. So like some of my favorite things to watch are musical biopics. Get On Up, James Brown Story, Ray, Straight Outta Compton. I love musical biopics, but those are movies. Movies. What I have noticed is like once a musical biopic film comes out, not long after will we get the gritty documentary with the real people who were really there telling their real stories. One of my favorite musical documentaries is called If You Don't Know Me By Now, the story of Tedward Pendergrass. I know I called him Tedward, but I am being very serious. Like the story of Teddy Pendergrass, it is called If You Don't Know Me By Now. And it was the truth. And I mean, I say the truth, and it's a turn of phrase, basically meaning it was like very real, very gritty, and it had like all these old black people in it who were all a part of his rise from Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes up to his solo career, like through the car crash, his desire to die, and like all the way up until like his actual death, like him trying to re-establish himself as a musician. Like you learn so much more when you let people tell you what happened from their perspective. And my biggest gripe, the reason I hated everything from the outset, like more, I hated episode 5 more than I did 1 through 4, and it was because like everybody seemed like they were coming back after watching the show, and they treated it like a drama. They didn't offer their genuine opinions. It felt like everything they said was an attempt to create a soundbite. They had to watch what they said because they knew the vitriol of the internet. If they said anything slightly off kilter, they would have been vilified immediately because that's what the internet does. The internet goes out of its way to turn people into a villain as soon as they can, so that they can be like, we hate this person now. And it's not just so they can create a sense of camaraderie. It's also that they can like separate and vilify other people who might not agree. Because like usually when they do shit like this, there's no like logic behind it. So if you have the balls to be like, that doesn't make any sense, I don't agree with that, they will. It's almost like, oh, so you're a homophobe then? Oh, so you agree with pedophiles? It's like, no, that's not what I said. But that doesn't matter. They're not using logic. Which again, it's like I'm judging the show. Like I'm judging Giovanni. I'm judging the 2 black dudes. I'm judging that dude. I'm going to judge the ever living shit out of that dude's mom. So get ready for that. Like I'm calling her by name. It's like I'm judging the ever living fuck out of y'all. Because like all of it seemed really fake. Like they did go out of their way to continue to slander and slash at Dan's throat, and I couldn't help but feel like there was just absolutely no point in it. As far as I'm aware, Dan Schneider has not been involved in kids television for like what, almost 10 years? From this side of the conversation, it sounds like you fell asleep.
Nope.
Huh?
Nope.
Okay. I asked you a question. I like me saying like it's been like 10 years.
Oh, were you asking? I thought
Yeah.
it was just rhetorical. You've been on a long one. I never even got to finish what I was saying.
Yeah, you can as long as you remember what you were saying.
Yes,
Don't yell at me. Like I'm not trying. Like I'm trying to
because
let you know that.
I said Linda Ellerby, and then you just took it and went off on a slow trot.
Would like
Not even
to
a run.
would like to remind you. I asked you specifically to take point. You chose not to.
It still, I was literally saying something.
Hey, big man, we can cycle back, dude. We can.
That's what I was waiting for, but you
Okay.
just kept going.
Yeah, because I felt like I would have like that was the point. Because everything I just said was the thing I was trying to make at the beginning, the point I was trying to make at the beginning, and I never got a chance to. And like I felt like it's more important to grasp that that's my takeaway from all of this. So like that's the emotional like feeling I had from watching this, rather than like oh Dan Schneider did it. Okay, anyway. So yeah, what were you gonna say? Like yeah, like the thing I said that's basically it. What would you say? Like Linda, you was talking about Linda Ellerby. Linda.
I really wasn't. I just mentioned her. I was like, it would have
Oh.
been cool.
Well, I was just trying to
But
remind you
the
like where
whole
we were.
thing, like the reason I thought I was gonna give it some credence, some legitimacy was because uh, Soledad O'Brien was the interviewer, and
Pause.
she is, huh?
Pause. She's 79 years old, but she is
Yeah,
alive.
I checked. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so the reason I was saying in the beginning, like what I would rather have seen,
Uh huh.
because this was also a piggybacking off of something else that you said.
Uh huh.
The way you started with how when she asked Drake like why he decided to speak, right? So what I would have preferred to have seen was her interviewing the people who put this documentary together. Because like it wasn't necessarily
Oh.
like a documentary. It was
It
more
was a hit
of
piece. It was a hit piece.
no, it was an expose where they were really just focusing on the exposed part.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to have seen her interview them, because one, like she is a like certified journalist, like has been in war zones and reported while things were literally being bombed behind her. So
She's
like
raw.
she's an actual freaking journalist,
Like she's raw.
and
Because I couldn't have done none of that.
so I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And because my biggest question is, so the court records
Kiarta.
for that case
Yeah.
were sealed. Drake's name does not appear in those court records.
Which I think is
Now,
usually par for the course when it's a minor involved.
yes. Now, somebody, like many people who were in that courtroom, knew that Drake was involved,
Yeah.
including, like they already said, like Will Friedle, Ryder Strong, freaking James Marsden, because clearly, like Dick Peck was going to people and telling them, like, this boy, he
Like
tempted me, like he played gotcha, and I fell for it, like I
there's
did
no,
gotcha,
there's absolutely
and
no
they
way
were
that's
like,
what he
you know
said.
what,
There's no
that's
way.
messed up. That's
There's
what no, that's the story. That's the story that they were telling. That they have
bro.
told that he told them. He
Get
told them
the
that it was
balls
all a
on that.
setup,
I'm on the F
and
word.
so people wrote. That's why when they were reading, reciting some of the letters, some of the letters were like this, they sounded like they were victim blaming. They were like the boy tempted him, and it's not his fault that he fell for it.
I mean, technically, yeah, it still is because he was a child. So yeah. But you got a
Also,
point.
the boy didn't tempt him.
He didn't.
um,
And as a
so like
reminder, the only reason Drakeson Bell, the only reason Drakeson Belford was in that situation to begin with was his mother was a scat bitch.
Didn't want to try.
Was a scat bitch.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the thing. So the court documents were sealed. Okay. Sure. People that were in the courthouse that day knew that Drake Bell was the other person involved. I read today that even Josh actually knew because Drake confided in him. So Josh has known like the entire time that Drake was involved in that situation. Many people knew.
But it wasn't their place to come forward with that
How
information.
exactly? How did the people who did this documentary like? How did they approach him? Was it one of those situations where they sent feelers out to literally anyone that had ever been involved? And one, I think it was an original. Originally, it was a situation where they wanted to nail Dan Schneider. And so they sent out feelers to anyone who had been involved in a Dan Schneider project.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like Drake said, he said he felt like it was time, right? But still to this day, he does not have a negative thing to say about Dan Schneider. So what happened was
Oh,
they found a thing that they could latch onto. And then that thing, probably when they spoke to, dang it, what was her name? What's her name's mama? They were like, ooh, okay, so we got a thing.
the little girl. Brandy.
Yeah.
Was her name? Brandy?
Brandy, yes, Brandy. Ain't that Brandy's mama? So I
What
would
is
have
that
liked
from?
to have seen.
Why do I know that?
Ain't that Brandy's brother?
Oh,
RJ?
yeah, okay. Is that Brandy's brother?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So Ray
I
Khan's
would
like
have
her
preferred to
nephew?
have seen her interviewing them, because it would I think would have been more telling about the reason everything was done the way it was done.
I don't think
Because
we've
I
gotten
mean,
an honest response.
it wasn't a documentary. Like it wasn't a documentary. It was like they were just trying to expose people. It was not a documentary. Um,
Are you going
but
on
either
record saying
way,
that?
like things like that. Yes, I just said it.
I mean, but like, are you
They
like,
were
so you're doubling down on the whole like they're calling it a documentary, but it was not a documentary. Like it was a documentary in that.
documentaries in the simplest form
Uh huh.
are typically educational in some manner.
It's usually a storyline, like a not a storyline, but a timeline, right? Of like here's
No, there is a storyline because
no no no
there are writers for documentaries. Like
yeah, but I didn't mean
documentaries have a story.
yeah, I
This
mean they
does
have a
not have a
story
story.
of the thing, but like a storyline, but it's also usually mm, you're yeah, but like I think like when I think of a documentary, I usually think of like it's really just a timeline of events. Like here's how it started, here's how it like here was life before, here's like it bubbling, here's it boiling, here's it exploding, here's the aftermath, and like this wasn't that. Like because
I mean, in a way, it was. It did say there's a start. Here's where it started to bubble, and here was the boil over, and here it is now. That's part
it,
five. Like, in essence of what you just said, that's what happened in those five different parts.
that's wild because
But I still feel like it wasn't a documentary.
I didn't because I don't read it like that because like it really felt to me like every single episode was really just them telling you about stuff, not necessarily like yes in order, but it wasn't like well here like there was no escalation, like is what I'm saying. In my opinion, I could be wrong, and I probably am. I'm cool with that. Um, but like the idea of all of it really seemed like they started out like Dan Schneider, fat douchebag, and then like here's facts about why he's a fat douchebag, and then it just kept going, and then like honestly like not to like jump the shark here or jump the gun or whatever, but it really felt like episode 5 was like so is Dan still a fat douchebag, and like
Well,
everybody
episode five was also just them capitalizing off of the
yeah
popularity
the popularity
immediately.
like 100%. Um, and again like it really felt like the whole thing was like I've said before, like quiet on set, and like everybody who talked about it like honestly, y'all were um capitalizing on child sex abuse. That's what this was. Um, and you can say, well, you're doing the same thing. Yeah, kind of, sort of. But I'm also mostly just like, I'm taking pot shots at the people involved and the people who put this shit together. Because I felt
Well,
like
see, I feel the same way about this as I would about the
unsolved
Dark Side of the
mysteries.
Ring. No,
No. Or the dark side of the
like
comic. Yeah.
Dark Side of the Ring is the same situation.
Yeah,
Like it's not. It's literally an expose situation. Like all they're doing is exposing all of these things that were happening in this time, and the people that they get to talk about it are like I don't want to say like the lowest common denominator, but you notice like they don't ever really get any big people to talk about these things. Mostly because they all have careers that they still want to worry about. But I also felt like that's probably a situation that um, specifically like Giovanni and the other one ran into in
wow,
doing
we do
this
not
part.
remember his name.
How you said like they everything that they said like seemed like measured. Well, and I'm sure it was. Why? Because at this moment in time, they are experiencing exactly what they've always wanted, which is that resurgence in popularity. They have attention on them again, and they don't want to screw it up.
Yeah. Because, like, I felt like, oh, man. Hold on. Like, I mean, you can go ahead and, like, if there's anything else you wanted to say. But I only have, like, one more thing to say about. Because the show was in segments. I think it was in 4 segments. And I only have one more thing to say about Drake's segment.
I'm
30 minutes.
going.
Oh, yeah. So apparently, like, mind you, like, if you watch episode, I think 4 of this, the episode before this, um, that we did, we made it very clear that, like, Drake and Josh acknowledge, like, publicly online that they aren't really friends. Like, they kind of aren't. Like, I think a lot of people assume that, like a lot of people think Keenan and Kel are best friends, and like they're
And
clearly
they're not.
like no, they're not.
And
Like
Keenan's the first to tell you that. He's like, yeah, we didn't deal with each other for a very long time.
and it has nothing to do with the fact, oh, y'all don't. And like I feel like the outside world, like, oh, it turns out they hate each other. Like, no, we just aren't friends. What part of it's a TV show don't you grasp? Like, are you that fucking dense? Like, we work together. It's kind of like The Office. Like Jenna, the lady who played the receptionist, Pam Krasinski. um, People would see her out in public and recognize her from The Office, and they would see her with her real husband, and would like have this like culture shock moment. I don't know if that's the right term or the right phrase, but they would have this shock moment where they realize like, but you're like, where's like, they would see her not with somebody who wasn't Jim Halpert or rather like John Krasinski, and it would like be this moment where it took them out of like it snapped them back into reality. Oh, there goes gravity, and they're like, oh, they're not really married. Like, no, it's a TV show. The characters are married and will be forever together in your mind, but like I am not. I'm not Pam. I'm Jenna, and Jim like and John isn't Jim. Like, and so like I feel like
This
people.
this is really similar. I don't know, have you heard about the stuff with Miriam Margolyes?
Uh-uh.
Um,
I'm I'm uncultured
she's
and a swine.
the old British lady who played Professor Sprout in Harry Potter, and she's in her 80s now, and she was on Graham Norton, I believe, or did an interview or something, and she talked about adults who are still uh, still love Harry Potter, who are still obsessed with Harry Potter, and she was just like, why haven't you let this go? It was 20 years ago. Like she was like, I think it's a little deranged. And so a lot of people have been on her about that, but like it is fairly similar. She has like that similar situation.
Wait, she
Like
played who now?
Professor Sprout.
That the one who read the tea leaves?
Who did what?
What did she do? Who was Professor Sprout?
She was the herbology teacher. I think she was only in like the first two.
Uh,
Remember
okay.
the teacher who pulled the screaming plant out of the pot in
Yeah. When you said
Cross Network?
herbology, yeah, when you said
Yeah,
herbology, I knew exactly what she taught, but I couldn't place her
yeah.
in the movie. Like, and I remembered what she did because of the Lego games. Oddly enough, yeah, you had to pull mandrakes out of the potting soil because they could break glass with their screams. Haha, I play video games in case y'all forgot. Uh, but and I feel like that's yeah, but for her it was like it was a role. That was it. Like it's like is that like it's a 5 or 4 movie series? It's a 5 movie series, right?
Hey,
Huh?
hey,
The Harry Potter series, like Harry Potter titular, is only 8. Is 8 movies? Like not counting Fantastic Beasts.
yeah, there are 8 Harry Potter movies
Are you fucking out
and
of here?
and 3 Fantastic Beasts.
Oh my! I thought it was only 2. Okay, wow, that's crazy to me. Okay, so like for her, she was in like less than a quarter of
Two,
them.
yes.
She was in a quarter of them. So to her, it's like for her it was a role. Like, and I'm pretty sure that what's his name? Daniel Radcliffe. I'm pretty sure him. There's a lot of actors in Hollywood who have had roles that they will always be. Like for a lot, it's like with what's his name? I almost said Conor McGregor. Um, Keanu Reeves. Like most people in our age group will see him as, oh yeah, that's Neo. People a little bit older than us will be like, that's Bill from Bill and Ted. And like people like under us will be like, that's fucking John Wick. Like, like
Isn't it crazy to think of how long and how like that's what a career. That's literally 3 generations of
yeah,
people.
yeah, who all identify you as like this
Some
other thing.
iconic character.
Yes, like and like the same goes for what's his name Lawrence Fishburne. Lawrence Fishburne to a lot of people, like the people like me who are actively trying to be assholes. He's Cowboy Curtis from Pee Wee's Playhouse because we were old enough to watch that nonsense and we remember him wearing it in Jerry Curl wearing that cowboy outfit. He was fucking Cowboy Curtis. But to a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, he's Morpheus. He'll never not be Morpheus. Period. Like same goes for Hugo Weaving. I know Hugo Weaving from The Matrix better than I know him from Lord of the Rings. And better explanation.
Something else really recently. He put some. I can't remember what it was. I clearly didn't watch it.
Uh,
But yeah, I personally would recognize him more as Elrond than I would
yeah,
as Agent Smith.
yeah, because that's what you see him as. But it also like has more to do with the fact that you know, he's he did a good job in that role. Like he brought you into the fantasy. And like the Moynihan guy from Lord of the Rings. Uh I watched I watched
Well,
X Men Origins Wolverine yesterday. Um and I saw 2 people that I've seen that movie before, but I've never sat and watched it. I've only seen it. And I saw 2 people in that movie that I didn't remember seeing, and one was Moynihan, the guy from Lord of the Rings. And if you're like, which one from the Lord of the Rings? It's a really good question. If you fucking look at the cast list for fucking or X-Men Origins Wolverine, you'll know which one I'm talking about. But I know him from Lost as the heroin addict, which came out way, but like quite a bit after Lord of the Rings, and quite a bit like well before X-Men Origins. But also, you want to know who else I saw in that movie? The dude who played the Axeman in Coven. You,
I
are you
don't
with me?
remember who the X-Men was.
You don't remember you don't remember his character, or you don't remember like the actor.
Like I don't remember him. Period.
So you don't remember the guy who like literally walked around with the axe, like, and he slaughtered the women in the witches in the coven killed him, and then he was stuck in the house.
No.
Okay. Oh, sorry, y'all. We got to go on a tangent for a second. I'll cut it to 3 minutes. Okay, so you remember Coven?
Yes.
Okay, so do you not remember Fiona having a boyfriend toward the end of the season? The scene where she's like complaining about the house at the end of the
Oh, the guy
season.
that's in the room with her.
Yes, him.
Naughty punch.
It's like
Yeah, yeah.
he plays Colonel Stryker in X-Men Origins Wolverine, like a major part of the fucking movie, like a very big part of the movie. And I was just like, it's wild. Like I would like if I saw him again, I wouldn't go, oh, it's Colonel Stryker. I would go, that's the X-Man, like because that's what I thought when
Yeah.
I saw it. Like, oh, that's the
You know
fucking
what's
X-Man.
sticking with the Lord of the Rings theme? If you look at Elijah Wood and you say the majority of white people all around the world are going to be like Frodo Baggins,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of black people, especially in our age group, is like, yo, that's the white kid from the faculty.
Bruh, when I tell you the only person I remember being in the faculty is fucking Usher.
Usher.
Yeah, and I've seen that movie several times.
Josh Hartnett was in it.
And I'm telling you now, like I can't stress to you enough. Like when it comes to we're getting back on track. I promise. When it comes to like any of that shit, I've seen the faculty 2 or 3 times. If I saw it today, I'd be like, oh shit, Elijah Wood is in this. I've seen it before. I've seen the movie. I know what it's about. Like I have. I've seen it multiple
He's
times.
the only one able to resist.
And yeah, it's weird. So when people watch stuff like Keenan and Kel and they see how well Keenan and Kel get along, you think to your like, and the same goes for like shows like the Cosby Show, where Claire and Cliff, like it seems almost like Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad are for real married, but the reality is like they're that good. They probably had really good off-screen
They just have
chemistry.
good chemistry.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they are faking it. And it's the same goes like it's the same reason actor is homosexual. It doesn't mean that you should force them to be a gay character. Like I feel like they should be able to like spread their wings and like give it a shot, like to like try to be something else. Like because you're acting. That's the entire point. Like you're acting, pretending. Like there's been plenty of straight actors who kissed men and women who weren't gay. Like that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like it's that like because I'm saying that because I'm thinking about Living Single because Queen Latifah played Khadijah James who in reality I'm pretty sure I think Queen Latifah is like openly gay but in the show especially it was in the 90s she wasn't gay.
It's not open.
Or
She'll never come out
it's still
and
speculation.
blatantly said it.
Oh, it's still speculation. My bad. Never mind.
But literally for like 20 years. Yeah, it's been speculation.
Allegedly, then that Queen Latifah is gay. Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? So, and the same goes because I remember when I Am Legend came out. There's a line in that movie where Will Smith tells the Hispanic lady that there is no God. Mark asked me like, how do you think it felt? How do you think he felt saying that? Like as like because I'm assuming like Mark was like, yeah, I get the feeling that Will Smith is definitely like a believer in Christ, and it was like, how do you think it felt like? And to him, for him, I assumed that he probably was like, well, that's not me saying that, that's the character saying that. Like I don't feel that way, and it's like, but to a lot of Christians, they'd be like, well, but you should have asked him to rewrite the line. It's like, yeah, but that's what the character would say. The whole point of the movie is to get you into the universe. You're not supposed to watch the movie and be thinking about Will Smith. You're supposed to be thinking about Doctor whatever the fuck his name was. And I feel like that's kind of the point that we're making here. Is like a lot of kids when they're watching stuff like all that Kenan and Kel, Victorious, or Blibbity Blobbity, they really do see them as that person. They think Kenan and Kel are best friends. You know what I mean? they think Drake and Josh are really best friends. But in the reality, they're no more best friends than that one person you're cool with at work. Like, do you invite them to your house? Probably every now and again. But like, they don't have sensitive information about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are very rare situations where that is a truth.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could say that, like, the Friends cast, the majority of them came in not knowing each other at all, but they all left best friends.
Which is cool. And I'm pretty sure like the Big Bang Theory, like I get the feeling like none of them were best friends after the fact. Like they probably were like they probably remember their time on the show with each other and it's like, yeah, it was nice. Like I like Haley or I like Jim or I like Johnny. But like that's it. When it was all said and done, they went on with other projects. Well, honestly, I think the Big Bang Theory was probably almost, I won't say as, but almost as beneficial for them as being on Friends was for the cast of Friends. Like none of them probably ever had to ever act again. Kaylee maybe, because she won't stop acting. But like Johnny,
Yeah, she's
Simon,
been in multiple things. Yeah, they've all been in nothing.
like yeah, didn't really need to be. Fucking even like Blossom. Well, Mayim, she's been in several things. But again,
Well,
did she
she got
have
that new show.
that should not, by all reason, be on air?
Oh, it got canceled.
Did it? Oh well, there we go. Cause like the fucking Cat Cafe show, holy shit. How? How did that get picked up?
I think it got canceled because Leslie
Yeah,
died.
Leslie died? Yeah, that's what I figured. Well hell. I guess I'm sorry. But yeah. So like and like we said in episode four, when Drake got married and Josh wasn't like and like Josh wasn't there.
Opposite. Flip it.
When
Flip
Josh
it.
got okay, when Josh got married and Drake wasn't there, everybody was up Drake's ass about why weren't you at Josh's wedding? It was like, oh, you suck, you're a bad friend. Why weren't you at the wedding? But
Well,
then,
even Drake was that way too. But I think that's just because he let the internet get to
which is sad. Like I don't know how else to like the word that. That's just fucking sad. Like you didn't want to go, but the internet made you feel slighted about not being invited.
Well, I don't know if he didn't want to go. Maybe he did. It's just that he wasn't told at all.
Which again, p- proves my point. Is like they aren't best friends. Like Like they aren't best friends, and that's just what it is. Like 100%. Like they, and I'm not saying that they don't like each other. I'm just saying the idea of them, because like in the show, I think either Drake or Soledad said like, oh yeah, like you guys have a unique. I wrote it. I quoted it. A unique bond is the words that they used. Like a unique bond. We've been talking about Drake for almost 50 minutes. We're gonna shift to the next segment. I got a little bit racist here, which is weird.
What's new?
I'm not that racist. Shut up. So in the next segment, it was Giovanni and whatever that dude's name is, because we did not choose to remember his name. Like we didn't. But Giovanni claimed that people told her, and I'm only saying this because like the phrasing is stupid, and like she said it, and they didn't edit it. They didn't think like, hey, take that again because that sounded dumb. She said people told her, my childhood is traumatized. And I just thought to myself, that's a fucking stupid sentence. Like those words don't fit together like that. That's just dumb. My childhood is traumatized. Like you mean child to you? Your inner child is traumatized? No, your childhood. You mean a swath of time in the past has been traumatized. Well, you know what? I think you'll save on therapy. Because I don't think it's going to come up anytime soon that it's been traumatized. But then, moving on, because there's really nothing to say about that. I'm pretty sure your bro's like, yeah, that's dumb. I'm just going to say he agrees. because he's not here to say anything. He went to the bathroom. They both claimed they didn't understand the comedy that they were performing. What Soledad did was for their segment, they played clips from Dan's YouTube video where he responds to a lot of the claims, and he said a lot of adults are watching kid shows with the lens of an adult, and as an adult, let's just put it this way: if you're saying, oh, that's not true, that ain't what it is, like the stuff he did is just gross. If you're not black, I promise you won't understand what I'm about to say. As black people, we can find the racism in everything. Like 100%. It doesn't mean that we think you're racist, and it doesn't mean we're gonna act on it. But as black people, as a disenfranchised race of people in America, you give us anything, and we can find the racism in it.
So here's the thing. I don't know if we can clearly say racism anymore. It's more of like we can see the bias in it.
Okay, let's put it this way. When I say racism, I am cutting it to the most bare bones. Like 100%. Like he's right. Like he's right. When I say racism, I don't mean genuine racism. I'm saying like I'm using racism in a way that like if you don't know better words for what you're experiencing. It's like we can spot 100% the white bias in almost any and everything. But if the racism is there, we can see that too. Like we can see the discrimination, we can see the bias, we can see all that.
Microaggressions.
Yeah. We can see all of it. And white people, there's a story. This is a podcast, y'all. We talking. We here. I've been asleep for too long. I'm up. We talking tonight, baby.
Well, I'm going to speed it up because I do have to go to sleep eventually. Yeah. Got work in the morning.
Yeah, I got to get up at 7 o'clock.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, so like, there's this dude, Nathan Hurd, and he told this story about how he used to work at a pizza shop, and at this pizza shop, there was this dude named Mike who was just relatively dumb. And one day he came in all excited, and they were like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? And he claimed, I got a coon up a tree. Now, they knew what he meant. But Nathan is a black albino. So it's possible, like, in that moment, he just didn't think about the fact that, like, oh, he's a black guy. But turns out, like, he just didn't know that was an offensive term for black people. So personally, for me, I just... can't do. You don't think about it because you're not fat, and it's just that. It's not that we're assuming that you're actively trying to like segregate us or anything like that. It's just that like because that's our life, we have to think about it. We don't have a choice. But she says that like, oh, stop. That they didn't understand comedy. They didn't understand the comedy. So they asked. So he says everything I wrote was written because boy, I had to remember what the fuck I was talking about. I do like talking. He said everything I wrote was written for a child audience. Like if you're looking at it as an adult, you will 100% be able to find some sexuality in it. And I said this on Twitter, and I said SpongeBob is the same way, and they were like, no, these shows, like other shows, aren't like that. Like he said, SpongeBob isn't like that, which is a fucking lie, because there's been plenty of memes where SpongeBob got awkwardly sexual for no reason. And I talked about like Cartoon Network shows, and he was like, well, cartoon, like it's one of those things where it's like, hey, here's the thing I think, and you point out that they're wrong, and like they, well, you're not, or I'm not wrong. It's just that all the things you said don't count. And I was like, well, you're like, well, Cartoon Network, they just show anything. And it's like, so you can't be wrong. Is that what you're telling me? Like you 100% can't be wrong. Got it. And they said, Soledad asked them, "Did you guys find the things you did funny?" And they were both like, "No, not really." And then they both acknowledged, like, "Well, we didn't truly understand the we didn't truly understand the business or the comedy. Effectively, adults were telling us like what to do. They thought it was funny, so we just tried to do it as best we could." And the reason I found that I thought that was bullshit was simply put, like, well, you're part of the audience that the show is aimed at. If what they were doing wasn't funny, let's just say like the shit they were doing wasn't funny, the stuff that Dan wrote was not appealing to a child audience, why did it stay on TV? And why do so many like adults have positive memories of watching all that and these other shows?
Well,
But
okay, so I can tell you right now that that might actually be like a part true because
well, I'm not
they
saying that
were
she
the
didn't get
ones
it.
performing it.
Well, that she did get it.
No. So I myself have written many a comedic script, and then once you go into it and you actually see it being performed, and even like the people performing it, you stand there and you ask yourself, "Is this funny?" And you don't know
Are you?
until someone with fresh eyes has seen it.
Because a part of me feels like in that moment, like if you're like, no, this is funny, it's like I acknowledge like greatly that comedy does not translate to everything. Like the because I've had scenes in my head that I've tried to explain to you, and you were like, okay, and I was like, it's funny to me. Like it's incredibly funny to me.
Yeah,
Like
and that's the thing is like Dan said that everything he wrote was for a kids audience, right?
So here's what happened. The Elgato messed up, and I don't. I didn't want to risk losing the audio, so I had to stop it here. But we'll pick it up in the next episode. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're a beautiful creature. Bye bye.